And this Micah is just like worshiping all sorts of other gods and getting a son and being like, you're going to be the priest now. You're going to be pastor, whatever your name is. Can we worship? Can I kill a cow for you? Hey folks, welcome to Joel Reads Bible. I'm Joel and I read Bible so that you don't have to. And we're still reading Judges, but we're having a great time with it because we just watched Samson die. You just read about it, but you probably imagined it. I know I did. Stick around to the end of this chapter where I'm going to tell you what I loved about the chapter and what I loathed. If there's anything worth loving or loathing. I mean, at this point, can it get any better? Can there be another fantastic story? We'll soon see. Let's get right into it. Chapter 17. There was a man of the hill country of Ephraim, whose name was Micah. He said to his mother, "The 1,100 pieces of silver that were taken from you, about which you uttered a curse, and also spoke it in my ears. Behold, the silver is with me. I took it." So interesting that we just jump right into the story. This is amazing. No build-up or anything. So now I'm doing it. I'm ruining it. So I guess 1,100 pieces of silver, which seemed to be the amount of money that Delilah was paid. He's not a Philistine. They should get new numbers. But anyway, so there was 1,100 pieces of silver that were taken from the mom, and he stole it. And now he's coming clean. That's what it sounds like to me. We'll see what happens. His mother said, "May Yahweh bless my son." So she's grateful that he's come clean. He restored the 1,100 pieces of silver to his mother. Then his mother said, "I most certainly dedicate the silver to Yahweh from my hand for my son, to make a carved image and a molten image. Now therefore I will restore it to you." No. Guys, that's against the rules. When he restored the money to his mother took 200 pieces of silver and gave them to a silversmith, who made a carved image and a molten image out of it. It was in the house of Micah. The man Micah had a house of gods, and he made an ephod and a teraphim, and consecrated one of his sons who became his priest. In those days, there was no king in Israel. Everyone did that which was right in his own eyes. So they're doing things that are deliberately against Yahweh. And this Micah is just worshiping all sorts of other gods and getting a son and being like, you're going to be the priest now. You're going to be pastor, whatever your name is. Can we worship? Can I kill a cow for you, my son? A really great indicator of just how the Yahweh stuff is cultural. Everything that Yahweh wants is just what these folks are going to do. It's just their built-in default. Oh yeah, we kill stuff for things, and we have priest, and we have God, and we have statues sometimes, or just ark. That's what we do. That's totally our thing. Yahweh's just another version of that, but he's the best. There was a young man out of Bethlehem, Judah, of the family of, you guessed it, Judah, who was a Levite and lived there. The man departed out of the city, out of Bethlehem, Judah, to live where he could find a place. And he came to the hill country of Ephraim, to the house of Micah, as he traveled. Micah said to him, "Where did you come from?" By the way, I don't know if you've noticed this, but Micah sounds exactly like me. He sounds exactly like me. He said to him, "I am a Levite of Benjamin, Judah, and I am looking for a place to live." Micah said to him, "Dwell with me, and be to me a father and a priest, and I will give you 10 pieces of silver per year, a suit of clothing, and your food." So the Levite went in. The Levite was content to dwell with the man, and the young man was with him as one of his sons. This is weird because Micah's saying, like, be to me a father and a priest. And then the young man was to him as one of his sons. So Micah's confused. He's like treating the Judite as a father, but also a son, unless I'm reading this wrong, which chances are I am. Micah consecrated the Levite, and the young man became his priest, and was in the house of Micah. Then Micah said, "Oh, I know that Yahweh will do good to me, since I have a Levite as my priest." What's going on? Are Judites Levites? I am a Levite of Bethlehem, Judah, from the family of Judah. I'm part Judite and I'm part Levite. Like, I don't know. I'll have to look a little bit more into that. It just seems they often would stay within the tribe. That's why they were doing so much incest. It feels confusing. I guess we've set the stage here. The character of Micah is doing the wrong thing. He's living his own life. He's got all these other gods, which he likes, and his mom has supported that by making him a god after he stole from her because she was so grateful that he gave the money back. Okay, cool. A little weird, but fine. And he has this son that's also a priest of the false weird god. And then a Levite, who's also a Judite, comes in and goes, "Hey, I'm a Levite Judite." And he's like, "I love that. Tell you what, room and board, more or less, and 10 pieces of silver per year," which might be a lot, who knows. And all you have to do is like do the ritual thing to keep Yahweh on my side. And I've got all the gods. Nothing bad can happen here. Everything's going to be fine. What did I love about this chapter? That it was short. What did I loathe about this chapter? That it's a little bit confusing. I guess the Levite Judite thing is a little bit confusing. I can't wait to figure out what happens. But we're going to figure that out in the next chapter, because there's nothing else to this chapter. So subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, and come back next time when we're going to find out what happens in the curious case of Micah, the Ephraimite. Bye.